In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto.
Question everything.
Trust nothing.
It's your boys, Keeper and Crusader. I know I just caught Miguel off guard. We just started doing that.
I thought you were lagging because we were just talking about it before the show. I was like, yo, did he just lag?
We are here this evening. It's TA Thursday, y'all. You know what time it is. We got CVO Crypto, Magic Internet Money in the house from Leading Crypto. Make sure you guys check them out. We've got their information for the YouTube underneath the channel, and they've also got a Discord that we'll get to as well. I actually need to toss that below the video. I don't think I have that in there. But that being said, you know what it is. TA Thursday, we jump in, dive in, learn some technical analysis, dive in more than Miguel and I are able to give you. That's not our specialty. It is, however, what CVO and Magic do, and they do it well. So we're super excited about that. Make sure you guys smash the likes. We've got our stimulus mint coming up. If you didn't know, now you know. Danger Close Alpha, stimulus drop, the free mint is about to happen really soon. So make sure that you guys are in the Discord for that.
And Twitter Space tonight.
Yeah, the Twitter Space. You know what?
Fire news tonight, guys. I've been doing some crazy geopolitical news research, so we're going to be bringing fire tonight for that space.
Well, we might be bringing more than just actual fire news. If we get 50 retweets, which I think we're at about 33, 34 right now, so help us out. The tweet went out a little while ago. We need 50 retweets. We're going to be giving away a Pure Fire Tactical Fire Starter. Just sent one of those out, actually, to our boy Danny. So, Danny, shout out to you, brother. That will be at your house in the next day or two. So we are giving stuff away, getting you guys prepared, and we're trying to bring you on and bring you into the fold.
We also got some whitelist spots that we're still giving away as well, along with that Fire Tactical. But we got to get to 50 retweets, guys. We got to get to 50 retweets. If you don't know where to find the tweet, Danger Close Alpha on Twitter, or join the Discord. The link is in the announcement. You can go find it there.
Yeah. So
let's get started, man.
Yeah, let's get started. Let's dive into it. I saw Magic just kind of dove off here. So normally we would start off with, just and we'll give him a minute, but normally we would start off with the overall. Let's talk without before we even dive into the straight technicals. The overall your overall feelings on the market. I'd like to hear from both of you, but I'll start with you, Paul. What's kind of your feeling on what things look like? How you feel about it? I mean, are you bullish, short term, bearish? What are you feeling?
Man, so, the one thing, one of the recent, comparisons that we've been actually talking about here for quite a while was that similar setup from the NASDAQ back in like 2000, right? And that's just like literally just an idea at this point. But looking at Bitcoin, though, right now for me, I could totally see us not going lower than our current low, right? I know that's could be.
What's our current low? About 18, 17,
like
6?
17.5, something like that, right? Yep. So, and what I mean by that is like, there's many that are really, really super focused on 14, 12, 10, the fact, like, it's just like, it's very similar to when we were at $6,000, back in 2018. But like in reverse, because at that time it was like everybody was very, assuming that we were just going to continue up. And then you got that one final drop. And I feel like that move back then is kind of, going to allude to everybody kind of feeling that similar way if we just end up ranging around this region for quite some time. And, I know we're kind of, hugging around that low right now, that 17.5, by kind of peaking down to like 18 and change today. But we really didn't take it out quite yet. I do think that we might poke our head down to 18, before, the final, real good move up to the upside. But from that, I really think we're going to range it out for quite some time. And, and in my opinion, we might not ever go, but much lower than what we've already put in, but, as far as right now, it's like, is the low in, is the bottom in, it's really, really hard to call and say and whatever. But, as far as like a DCA standpoint would go, I mean, man, if you're afraid to buy Bitcoin at 18,000 and 19,000 and whatever the case is, I think that's going to be a disservice to yourself.
This market's not for you if you're scared.
They're going to be terrified at 14. They're not if they're afraid at 18.
Exactly. So I mean, and there's a case, to be made for all the lower levels. Don't get me wrong, but for me, even if that is what our, overall, move down comes sometime down the road, I still think we're just going to range it out, man. And like the range is, I think it's going to be pretty large, and I think it's going to be on a weekly scale. We've looked at it a couple times. I know we're, down below 20 right now, but I do think that we'll probably close out this week back above, the previous all-time high in 2017, whatever that is, 19.7, whatever the case is. And on a weekly scale, I think we'll really just range around 20 to
range around.
Which is a massive, area to be considering over the next couple of months, so that, that's just kind of what if you're just asking for a gut feeling, then that's what I would say. But
is there anything particular about that 17 price point that makes you think that we're going to hold that? We're not going to drop too much lower than that, besides
not like anything specific. I'm just, I know that's
just your gut feeling.
Yeah, that's just what people would get excited about, I think, if you just were holding that level. But popping back up above that, the 200 weekly moving average, which at this point I think is like 22K, 23K. I mean, we could pull all this stuff up. Obviously, we're just shooting the rock here. Shooting the rock, probably not the best term, but
no, you smoke rock, you don't shoot the rock. But, I mean, that's a whole different story. Man, we're going to get in trouble talking about that on YouTube. So, hey, so Magic, sorry you dropped off there for a second, but I was basically asking the state of the market. But let me pose this a little bit different to you. Paul said, CVO said something that I think is interesting. He said he was talking about timing. And I think that one of the things that everyone in the crypto space wants to do is time the bottom, time the top, and everything in between. Is there maybe something on the technical side? You guys are here obviously for the TA, right? Is there something on the technical side of the charts that we could talk through, or that you could show us, or just give us a little tidbit of some education? I know over in your guys' Discord, you guys do like dive head and hands into this stuff, but can you give us like a little piece of maybe something that would work well for how we can use something on the charts to benefit us as it relates to time and timing?
Yeah. So we use time quite a bit. I do a lot. You guys have probably seen it on my Twitter post and in some of my videos. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. And apologies for not showing the face today, guys. It's kind of a messy day. I've been painting, so I've got blue paint all over my fingers and hands and arms. So it is one of those things. So let's go ahead and get this up here, and we'll head over to Bitstamp.
Blue Man Group.
Yeah, you guys will like this. I'll be excited to have it done. I've been a one-man crew though, so. Everything from flooring to walls to, getting things hung up and new desks built. So, yeah, so we talked about timing the high of this actually on November 21st. I believe it was here. So what you can see was this one. You can see this move right here to the highs is going to be the equivalent to this move here. So the reason that timing is so important is that it's not going to be a crystal ball for you, but a lot of times with the way markets interact, whether it's from a market cap standpoint or a, what's the word I'm looking for, or an emotional investor standpoint, you'll run into similar moves, symmetry. That's why symmetry works, because when you stretch a rubber band, it has to, pull back, right? So it always comes back to the average eventually, and then sometimes goes below that even, and then it comes back to the average, and you redo this whole process over and over. They often will take similar cycles or similar times because it takes similar amounts of time to reach these overbought or oversold levels, however you want to word it, or write that message in your mind. In this case, this move from the low here on January 12th of 2015 up to the high on this same week of December 18th, 2017, we are now projecting this move from the market cycle low here at 3K, and it's giving you the exact one-to-one high of the exact week that we put in our all-time high. So from there,
you're saying you could move. Hold on, let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You're saying I could basically take the lines that you just drew, drag them over, and you end up with the same movement?
The exact same move. Yeah, except the difference in this move was the expansion was not as far. Obviously, this one expanded pretty heavily. If you were to get a one-to-one in expansion on it, it would look a lot different. So in that case, you would be looking for like 414,000. But in reality, what you got was you got a 61.8% projection. So you got this, right? So you came up to your trend-based golden pocket, and you had trend-based Fibonacci time at the one-to-one of the high. So we can utilize very similar tools for the lows. Now, is this going to guarantee to give you the low? No, but it gives you an idea of the timing of what it might take to put something in, like a structure like this in a market cycle low, and just kind of let you know when should I be looking for signs of relief. So in this case, you are looking at a very similar drop, and we're just going to look for that, and we're going to say, where will this be coming in at? This says the 1-to-1 on this is November 7th, right? So if November 7th is, Q4, we need to start looking at it and saying, is there anything else that'll point us that direction? You can see here that if we take the expansion of just this leg up and we don't project it down to the market cycle low, so now we're only looking at a time expansion of this move, you can see about the 382 is where your low is going to come in at. You can do the same thing again for the upside. So we're not projecting anything for a third point. We only have 2 points. So you're double clicking at the end here on this tool. Okay. And you're looking for the 382, which is a very similar December 19th. So it's giving us between November and December to be looking for potential lows inside of the market.
Okay, so it's giving you a broad. It's giving you a broad. Obviously, we all know you can't call the day of a top or a bottom. That's just stupid. Like if you could, everybody would be freaking. Whoever could do it would be the most wealthy person on planet Earth, right?
So but you can do that a little bit, actually, to be upfront with you. Like I do that sometimes in the Discord for the guys. So I can give you a really good example of a local one if you'd like. So Fibonacci time is really, really cool. You can do quite a bit with it. And so if you come over to Bybit, there's tons of ways to use this tool. The one I showed you is the most broad and the most palatable to people, especially if they're just getting used to the tool. But if you were to go out and like start dabbling in something else like structures and harmonics, things like that, this was the harmonic that took us to the highs here. It was a butterfly. So what I will do is I will run the distribution off of these patterns and then time them with Fibonacci, and then time them with the Fibonacci pitchfork. And usually I'll get a 1-to-1. So what I'm looking for is the 1-to-1 here. We had been eyeballing May 13th for a potential, not overall market bottom, but looking for a macro bottom there. And you did. You got a 28% bounce off of this level. And if you were to put just a simple pitchfork on here, and we'll take it out of log scale because we're in linear for this, you can see that this was an exact touch of the median or the EQ of this is what your target is. And the 1-to-1 in time was coming in the very next day. So you were ready for this move. And we were quite ready for it, actually. We were looking for 25,100. It hit 25,222. So we were.
You missed it by $122, dude. Yeah. Like, you should probably just stop doing this whole TA thing, man.
It doesn't work, but it doesn't give you a crystal ball. It's not telling you what's going to happen. It's just, we knew that if we came down here at the 1-to-1 expansion in time off of these highs, that there was a really good chance we could see a bounce out of this zone. And then it was up to us to figure out how to find that zone. And that zone was pretty easily identified. I believe I saved it for a future video eventually. I was testing a few things out. There's a blank chart that I kind of just screw around on. I believe I have it here. We're going to need to go, right here. So this was the actual range we've been looking for. We were looking for an NPOC, a naked point of control, at $26,865. So we knew we had the 1-to-1 in time. We had our pitchfork coming in there. And what I had done was I had just told them that there was no reason to look for longs yet in this region because we haven't tapped the NPOC unless we leave the range that we were tracking for this specific fill of an inefficiency. Then there is no reason to think that we should be buying here when we're going to get to buy here, because that's the natural progression of a range. And that we knew that the range low for that was coming in at $25,100. So we were looking between 26,865 and 25,100 for the potential bottom. It just happened to be closer to the 25,100 level. And how you could have actually gotten entry to that was, we use exo charts. If you were zoomed in on exo charts, you could have seen the real-time delta shift and seeing that there was actual strength coming into this move. And it did. It led to a fairly nice bounce. The problem was, and I was on here, with you guys, and I said, I think we're going further down after we made this high, but it was a 28% bounce. So these are really, really nice trades. And if you're a trader, and this is a trader's market, in my opinion, there's a lot of tools that can just give you a little bit of an edge. It doesn't have to be a crystal ball, just a little bit of an edge, just to let you know that, hey, we should be looking for reversals here. We have the area mapped out. We have the plan. We've done all the hard work. Now, the next piece of that, the other part of being, the hard work is taking the trade. So that's really it. Trading is not as difficult as people think, but if you have a system and you know how to use some of these tools, you can time the market a little bit. You're not going to be, it's going to seem really cool when you do it the first time, and like it does happen to the hour. Like the very first harmonic I ever got was to the hour. It was a 1-to-1, AB equals CD. It was right down here at $6,400. It was really, really nice. And it was actually like the low right here. And and it came in to the minute almost, and to
And
the
you
dollar.
felt like the chart. You felt like the chart god, right? Like immediately.
I did for like a little bit there. I was like, I don't know what just happened, because like I've never done anything like that. But you know, you can learn this stuff through books. These are things that they used to teach when people did things by hand. It's before TradingView was around. You know, I believe Carolyn Borden has a Fibonacci timing book out there. That's one that I provide in our Discord, just because people should read that.
Right.
She goes through the time sequence. She goes through all that stuff. So yeah, that tools. There's a lot of different tools to trade this market. You don't have to use the same ones as everyone else. I like to do these because it's what I'm used to. It's what I like using.
Right.
That's not for everyone. So
I had a quick question. It was a little bit off topic from the so-called timing of the market. But the question is, and it's brought in by Sean, it says, in less than 20 minutes, Bitcoin will have a monthly close below the 200 week for the first time ever. So
people are saying it's ripping. People are saying it's ripping right now.
Yeah, it just pumped like $1,800 in the last like 2 minutes.
Okay, so well, let's assume we did have that close, right? Let's assume we do have that close. How do you guys feel about that happening if that were to close below the 200?
I'm indifferent. Like, honestly, it doesn't bother me. I could care less. I know that sounds terrible. It's just a barometer for, you know, an average, and it's a fairly high time frame one. It's kind of like saying that we can't close below the all-time high to me. So anything in this market can happen. And in a situation like that, especially with something that high time frame, and we're really talking macro here, this is something I do on like the daily and weekly, and it sucks saying it on the monthly because it takes so long, but you're talking about a monthly chart that is going to take a long time. I would like to see it open below it and then close below it on a full candle. You know, really confirming that it's going to be resistance and that we're going to trade below that deviation. I refer to them as deviations, but that's all they really are. They're just moving averages. How far away from the regular mean are we, you know, or how close to it are we? If we're going to trade below it, that's the route I would like to go. And I do think that if we're going to see these like crazy numbers that we're talking about to like $12,000, $10,000, actually, it's not even really crazy. I do think it takes time. I think it takes longer to correct. So I do favor a range here and a bounce more than anything, maybe even chopping around that 200 week quite a bit for the next coming weeks before it really makes up its mind whether it's going to close above it on the next candle or below it. We could spend some time just in this area. I think CVO was alluding to that when I was popping back on. So,
Paul, let me ask you something. So it's the bear market. We talk about this a lot. Miguel and I have talked about this a decent little bit. If you've never been in a bear market, one of the things you need to understand is that there is some really good things that you can take advantage of in the bear market. And one of those is the opportunity to be able to trade, but you got to know what the heck you're freaking doing, right? So the traditionally, assuming that we have a similar bear market as in times past, it's going to be a while, right? We're going to have, I went from, you know, nice little portfolio to feeling freaking broke, right? So, okay, cool. Here we are. So during this time period, what you'll hear a lot of people say is like, take advantage of it, get educated, watch videos, do this, do that, do this, do that. What's some of the things that you guys do in the Discord for the people that are in there as it relates to that? Because for me, I know that that's been probably the most beneficial thing that I've been able to do is actually like interact with people that are actually like teaching some stuff. What kind of stuff are you guys doing in there?
I mean,
because once you moved to Discord, because we were in there with you in Telegram, Miguel and I were in there, and I think Miguel might still be in there.
I'm still in the Discord,
yeah. I still have not made the move, so I'm just asking to see like what kind of stuff you've got going on in there.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, it's a different world that we're in now than we were in 8 months ago, obviously. And, you know, we talked about this last week where, you know, we've graduated from aping into the market and just making money, you know, like anybody could just buy and hold. And that was kind of, that's the general, like anybody in the market obviously wants to just be able to do that. Obviously anything else is hard work, right? So whether you're going to be shorting or longing with leverage or anything like that, like obviously that's extremely hard work. But even if you're just going to be actively, like right now, you know, let's just say we pushed higher to like 22, 23, 25K, whatever the case may be, you know, altcoins have a really crazy run. You know, the altcoins have put in massive ranges that, you know, they could really rotate, which means that, you know, from low to high, I mean, they could just run it and really get nowhere that they weren't 2 months ago or a month and a half ago, and then just completely fall back to where we are today. And those things take time. And it's just what we focus on is kind of just, you know, the education part of it, it's not in the same, I guess that what you're kind of getting at is like, read up on a project or, da, 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 da. And that's
I'm not. I'm getting at, hey, if you want to learn how to freaking trade,
I got you. Okay. I thought you like the general senses I usually get when I hear people saying, like this is the time you want to get educated or this or that. Usually it's like, look up some projects you want to invest in and, figure out what they're doing. And which is also great. Like
it's all great
for the long term. Like if that's, you should obviously know what you're investing in if that's the case. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I mean, we have, we got a 15 video academy where, goes over all the tools and resources you just saw Magic going through that you see us constantly going over. Very, very helpful. One of the biggest tools under our belt is the order flow and open interest, which, as we were just looking at that, I'm looking at that move that just pumped up and,
it says ETH's up like 5.5% in like 6 minutes or something.
Right. So, but you can actually watch that, order unfold or that whole move unfold and see, what is going on in the market, and it's like things of that nature, just where anybody else is just looking at it and it's just like, oh, that was a bear trap, like good to go. When at the end of the day, that could easily just be a run back up. I know we got a naked point of control back towards $20,000 from the Asia session from last night. We could very easily just run it up, tag that, and then come right back down to 18K before going on. But regardless, I mean, it's in the Discord. It's constant flowing. Magic really focuses heavily on Bitcoin. I focus heavily on the altcoins. We've got an order flow of an interest specialist, and we're just constantly putting out any information, short term, mid to long term. And then we do the updates Wednesday and Sundays as well. So it's just as much information as we could possibly get out there on a constant basis. And then, the educational tools behind it so you understand it. Even if you're not going to actively be trading or this and that, you at least will know. You'll at least know what we're talking about, things of that nature. So we also do live streams now as well, 3 times a week, 2 New York sessions and then 1 Asia session as well. So
what do you mean Eastern time versus the Asian markets?
So I mean, technically the Asia, in 2 minutes here, you get the daily close, daily open, and that's actually the Asia market that opens up from basically 8 o'clock our time, goes for 6 hours. Then London session kicks off for 6 hours. Then the New York session starts at 8 o'clock Eastern, my time in the morning. Yeah. So we'll do 1 Asian session at night. So we'll start at this time, and then we'll go 2 hours, and we'll just be live trading.
Oh, I didn't know that was I didn't realize that was the reason for the time that you were going live in the when you were doing that in the evening. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, cool. A long time. It's almost funny to look at it too, because you can really see the institutional difference nowadays, because it used to be the Asia market was where the overnight time, right? We always used to be like, oh, we'd go to sleep and the market would explode. Well, that's not the case anymore. You'll notice at least maybe during the bear market, the most action actually comes in during the New York session, which is very it's a totally different world now with that one. It's a lot of times the Asia session puts us to sleep. But
guys, I just want to interrupt real quick, guys. Smash the likes. These guys are bringing you a lot of hard work with their TA here. Show them some love. Smash the likes. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you're following them on their socials. The links are down below as well. Magic Internet Money or CVO, whichever one of you guys want to answer this. What do you guys think? I kind of ask this almost every single time, I feel like. What do you guys think is more probable? First, going sideways and coming down to that 15, 14K level, or having a false rally, right, into the 20s at some point, 25, 26, whatever that is, and then coming back down? Which one do you guys think will play out more likely?
I would say
just your gut feeling, even if you don't have anything to back it up, just your gut feeling on it.
Rally's more probable, I would say, in that instance. This was
for the purpose of trapping people.
Yeah, we were looking for this move all week. I've been telling them to stay patient. Like, dude, we're not at the range lows. A lot of people are saying I'm going to buy 20K or I'm going to buy this. Like, it makes no sense to buy there. What we're looking for is we're looking for a minimum of sub 19K, and then we're looking for a swing failure pattern, a deviation of the range, and we want to get in on the strength when it comes back in. So for me, that was what we wanted to see, was we're getting that now. So it's still not out of the woods. You technically need to get back above 20,688.50 before you can really kind of start even thinking about celebrating. And then the weekly open above that. But that would have been the best trade that was available at the time. And so that's really what I'm about, is just taking good trades. The trade on the way down definitely wasn't a short unless you caught the high. I call it diddling in the middle. You don't want to do that. You don't want to sit in the middle of the range. You'll get chopped alive. you get stopped out both ways before it picks a direction, which was going to be the direction that you knew it was going anyway, right? So it's just a quick way to lose a bunch of money if you do that. However, for me, I would love to see this take the lows, put in a decent range here, maybe put in some kind of a structure, whether it's a triangle, something like that, get a rally to the upside, hit that, 25K-ish level, or maybe even higher than that, back test the old range. And then we can play it by ear, because you have to think, if you were to chart all the ranges since we broke down, which we've done, it hasn't actually broken upwards in a range in so long. It's been a long time. So, if we just look at all the ranges, I'll share my screen and show you this, so you can kind of see what I mean.
Are you suggesting that we're due?
For lack of a better term, that is.
I mean, I know that's not how you obviously chart and all. I'm just asking, like, is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, kind of. So you can see here, like, you put in a large range, you come up above the range. These are going to be the best places to fill big shorts. People are going to be very bullish. You're back testing the point of control of this old range anyway. If you were just to pull it up, it's back into this region. You've got several TPO value areas in there as well, all in this region of the chart. So you're just back testing old ranges the whole way. Even this one right here, even though it doesn't seem like it just kind of fell out of nowhere, you were above the range, and the range you actually back tested was from the overall structure. This market structure right here, when you set the entire range to begin with, was what we were looking for, 32.9K specifically being the level that we just had to get back above, and you just never did. And all of my folders got jumbled by
CVO.
No, every now and then you get this thing where it jumbles everything in a folder, and it'll take it completely out of order, and I have to go in and like reorganize it. It usually takes me like a full 2 days because I have so much information in this chart. But what you're noticing is, if you were to expand this range from when we were trading here before this move up, you've just come up and just confirmed that the floor that you were previously holding has now become support. So taking a short here inside of the current setup, it's not the best short possible. This was a really nice swing failure pattern into some weekly pivots, which was made for a really easy trade. I think entry for me was 21,771, so pretty close to the high. It was a good trade. We've come to the range lows now. We need to take a look at that and evaluate whether or not we can get in on a long and try to run it back to the high range highs, take profits, and then rinse and repeat. Because until these ranges start reversing and we start actually breaking these ranges to the upside, there's really no point in looking for anything more than a failed rally. So you just have to ask yourself where the best place to short and long is. The best place to short is above the range.
So when these ranges form, as you're looking at, so I see where you've got literally the multiple different ranges drawn out on this, right? I can see them. Is there an amount of I know you look at obviously the different time frames depending on how short term or long term you're trading, but is there something is there a certain amount of time or volume or like an indicator that you're looking at to say, hey, we are officially in a range? Is there enough time that I guess what I'm asking is there any sort of set indicator that you look for that?
Yeah, so
say, hey, we're in a range.
Generally, once you get into the range, the volume will actually start dropping off, and you'll see gradually open interest will start increasing, and that's really going to lead you to knowing when the range is actually going to break. So that's more of a locked range analysis theory. And so what you're looking at then is, okay, total positions built up in this range, or what, who stands to lose the most money if the range breaks to the upside or downside? Or is it more probable that it looks like we have good delta, it looks like people are interested in pushing this price higher? Like this specifically, I have it clipped, I just never posted it because I feel a little obnoxious doing stuff like that. But Max, he lives in Dubai, and he was covering this move, and we were looking at this range, and the range lows were very well defined. And we had said about right here, we said what would be really nice is if it did come up again, it came back and took the lows. Because of the open interest and the way that it's been built up, the people that we need to wash are going to be some of these
wicked everybody out there.
Yeah, you take those stops, you take the liquidity there, and then you leave those guys. And where they usually get back in is they generally don't buy in right here because they think that it's going to come back lower. They're like, well, I got wicked out, it's going to come all the way to the lows. They usually end up buying back up here, unfortunately. And then they end up being exit liquidity yet again. So it's a brutal part of trading. But even the form of this range without using any order flow, this is an upside down B, showing you that this was continuation. This is a bearish continuation formation as far as ranges go. And even on this one here, if it starts putting in more at the bottom, and the reason it's so important to get back above this high volume node is you'll be forming the exact same thing here. So this really does need to, hold these range lows and get back above this area of the chart and start filling in this volume gap up here and, showing interest at these levels. Because if it doesn't, it'll eventually just find this out. Yeah, and it's a continuation lower at that point, and that's how you have to look at it. But for right now, the best opportunity was down here. If you look at it on the 4 hour, this was the level I gave them when I took off to go painting, was this little line. It was just 18,880 and 50 cents. This was the line I was after. And I believe if you look at it on the low time frames, finally broke back above it here, and you got this nice girthy, green candle to the upside. So hopefully that wasn't too off in the weeds, but I feel
no. That was really well spoken. Yeah. I appreciated seeing that because I've questioned that a lot.
I got a bit of a question about that. But before I ask the question, just want to remind everybody, guys, we got 90 people in here. We only got 40 likes. Let's keep smashing up the likes, guys. Let's get the likes up. Make sure you are joining the Discord for Danger Close Alpha. We have the Twitter space tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time for Danger Close. We're giving away a tactical fire starter if we get 50 retweets on the tweet, and we're giving away some whitelist spots, guys. If you want to get prepared, if you want to get ready, if you want to join the only NFT project with the most real-life utility, make sure you check out Danger Close Alpha. So the question is, Magic, the melt up theory. We're talking about, is that any way possible by the end of this year? Do you guys see anything that would give you some grain of hope that the melt up theory
is this actual theory, or is this just a crypto weatherman TikTok we're talking about? I was
going to say, I don't even know what
I'm trying to figure out. I'm just trying to figure out where we're at here.
I wasn't trying to name names. I was trying to keep, do your own research.
I couldn't help myself.
Figure out the
I think if we got as high as he's looking to go, man, by the end of the year, we'd have a completely different conversation on our hands on like what's actually going on in the market. Because at that point, the Fed has probably shifted. To me, I don't buy into the melt up thing just because he started that back when 32,903 was the low. Not only did I give that low almost to the dollar going into that a month in advance, it was one of those things where as soon as we established it, the first thing I made a comment on was that is a weak low statistically. You can quantify them based on delta, and that low will be taken with an over 85% chance over time. So all we're doing is looking for a take profit to the upside, and that everyone was calling for market cycle lows there. They were celebrating, looking for a melt up. I think that at some point you just have to say, I was wrong. It's gone from 32K all the way down to 17. Personally, I think it's more about entertainment at that point, and I don't really put any actual technical weight on it. And that's just my opinion. And that's not to be, I'm not trying to badmouth anyone. It's just.
No, it was me throwing a little shot out there, just being a punk. Real quick.
He's incredibly intelligent. He's a smart guy. I think it's just one of those things where at some point though, you just
you got to be wrong. You got to be wrong sometimes, and that's okay. Matt C, super chat, always supporting the channel. Matt, thank you very much. I met Matt actually down in Miami. Had breakfast with Matt. Super great dude. Matt says, "Hey guys, just wanted to wish you all a happy 4th, happy holiday weekend. Thank you for always standing for freedom, bro. 100%. Thank you. We love you, bro. We appreciate you as always being here supporting the channel. So thank you."
So let's get into some altcoins. CVO.
Altcoins. Hold on. Are there even altcoins left at this point, CVO? Do we have altcoins to actually talk about here in this market? Or
I know you're nervous, Nick. I know you've been drinking some apple juice lately because to calm down the nerves. But altcoins are still around, bro. Altcoins are still around.
Okay. There's still altcoins in the market. Okay, got it. Go ahead, CVO.
Yeah. Oh man.
See, he can't even find an altcoin to trade. He's like, this is just not something we do right now. You know what I mean?
I don't want to scare the people. Let me see. Let me try to find the best, worst chart right now.
Yeah, right. Let me find ape. Let's see here. Can you guys see this or? Before we get into this, right? For anybody that we were kind of going over this before, I brought it up here once or twice. When Magic was
an altcoin. Hold on, back up. Are you about to call ETH an altcoin?
100%, bro. Learn your place.
Oh my
Learn your place.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Continue. I'm sorry.
It's the king of the altcoins. But we were talking about earlier when they're talking about the idea of melt up and all this and all that. I'm assuming that means like market completely just running up to like 50, 60K, whatever the case is, right?
Massive move to the upside. Yeah.
Right. So what I was talking about earlier is the idea that on a weekly time frame, right? So that still means like, right now we're kind of coming into this second week. This is literally just an idea, right? A fugazi, if you will, from Miguel. But looking at Biddy on, let's take a little thought experiment, right? That we really already kind of gone over, but just for anybody out there that loves a good fractal and a theory. Real similar here. You already got Magic. He pulled up his deep crab and log scale idea. Regardless, just looking at this, you got your high, your low, right? You got boom, boom, boom. Got your high. You got a slightly higher high. You run it all the way back, and you got a weekly back test now of the previous all-time high. We were kind of going over this earlier. The idea right now that we're looking for is you get a little pump, whatever, and then from here everybody's looking for the nuke all the way back down. And for me, which once again, not that I'm hanging my hat on this and just like, oh, this is exactly what's going to happen, but this, we're taking a level by level, day by day, regardless. But for me, I think it is very likely that we run it probably back in these lows right here in this region, right? Kind of back testing this overall range. I know this is a real sloppy way to portray this, but there's a reason behind this, right? A little example. And we probably sit around here for a long time. And mind you, this is, a massive window. You're talking 60, 50, I guess you could consider that a melt up or whatever, but, that's possible 50, 60, even if you just start, honing in on 40% moves to the upside out of Bitcoin, how the altcoins are going to move. That's pretty much this juncture that we saw back here where you had run-ups of like 50, 60, 70%, really big moves out of the altcoins. Nobody sold. Everybody was really excited, thinking the market was going to, continue on every single rally, right? And then just to get lower and lower and lower over time. For me, that would be, I'm looking on this idea that we range it out in this region and then eventually just continue on from there. And maybe that's, into the next halvening, whatever the case is. But in between then, I think there's going to be a million opportunities. And it's not even on like the leverage trading or the extreme, day trades or anything like that. But you just on like swing moves, if you want to try, to catch, you run, Bitcoin back up to this $33,000 region, maybe take something off the table, put a little, get some dry powder back in the bank account and wait for a possible low. Obviously you'll have a time where you'll start to realize that the market is continuing on without it. But one thing I did want to point out here, and this is just literally just a coincidence, right? Once again, just a little bit of a straight up, whatever you want to call it. Let's see here. Where is it? 3-day. Maybe it's not on there. Regardless. So anyway, just kind of taking a peek at that, right? And then when you look at, I was going to show you that there was a 3-day death cross up here, and then basically we had a 50% drawdown. And from there, that's, I don't know why it's not pulling up, but regardless, looking at the NASDAQ was the other one that we were looking at last time, right? So the NASDAQ back in like 2000 had a very similar structure, and it's, just something fun to play around with. But pretty much you had, if this was equivalent to Bitcoin, obviously you got your 17 high, your 3,000 low, 14 high, Rona dump, 65K, 69K, back test on the weekly. And then what'd you do? Ranged it out. Ranged it out. And then eventually just literally went on from there. Right. So that's just an idea, like literally, obviously that's literally just almost as hopium-ish as looking at, the 17, versus the 13. And then,
yeah, but I mean, I like it though, from a standpoint that we talk about this a lot. As the market matures, as the crypto markets mature, we are looking at, and people need to be aware of the fact that, and it's part of the reason why we talk about, continuing to be involved, be in the markets as much as you can. At some point, it is going to be the freaking NASDAQ, right? When we start getting into tens of trillions of dollars, $50 trillion, whatever the markets get to, right? There's going to be a point at which, a couple percent move is going to be just like it's not going to be the, Bitcoin moves 70% overnight. Like it can't continue like that forever. Or at least I don't think it can continue like that forever. So I actually like this comparison, because I do think as the institutional, awareness gets farther and farther and more institutional money, I think we're going to slow down on the percentage moves, because it allows them to position themselves in a way that, to continue to accumulate as they push the market around. I don't know.
Right.
I like it.
This is an interesting idea too. Once again, I'm not going to take up too much time with it, but if, just imagine if Bitcoin did something like this, even on the NASDAQ, right? You have the volume here, you put in a massive range up here. What did we do? Right. You came down, spiked. This is weekly time frame, mind you. So this is weeks, this is like 2 months, maybe by the time you ran it back. ran it back. What'd you get? That rejection off that previous range, comes back down. You formulate this range forever, come back up once again, right? Everybody maybe gets excited. Once again, this is at NASDAQ, this was years in the making, so that hopefully we don't have to wait that long. But it gets rejected, comes right back down again. Everybody's probably thinking, it's just going to keep going lower. It's going to keep going lower. But in the end of the day, what it did here was you actually broke out of this range, came back down, back tested it. And that's what we would be looking for if, once again, big ifs across the board, if something like this was to come out of Bitcoin. But you'd be looking for that breakout, get that retest of the range. And that's what you'd really want to see, because then that's exactly what we did from there, right? Got that back test, and then bada bing. Now looking at some altcoins, right?
Yeah, we got people in the chat saying $475 ETH, $600 ETH, $500 ETH.
Bring it though. Bring it. Listen,
go.
I got
an ETH chart for you if you want it. It's a good one.
What'd you say? You got what?
I got your ETH chart if you want it. I went ahead and took like 30 minutes to an hour and went through the ETH chart one day.
Bring it up, man.
Yeah, did some time price opportunity.
I want to look at ETH.
Look at the TPO values.
You know I want to look at ETH.
It's my girl. Let's see it.
We'll pull it up.
We gotta look at ETH.
So there's really one zone here. It looks like a Fibonacci level, but it's really not. The 818. But this is a single print right here. So there was a single print that
what's a single
begins right here. So what a single print is let's say that when there's a break of a range, whether it's to the upside or the downside, right? So you have to think at that point, you're either having seller capitulation or buyer capitulation, meaning that one side is completely capitulated. There's no more resistance in whatever direction it's traveling. On the way up, that was right here. Right here, you ran into a single print that started here at, it looks like $760 and ran all the way up to right here.
You're saying a single candle. You're saying a single candle made this huge move.
Yeah, you can see it right here on
it's
the
just
chart.
hard. It's a little bit blurry for me. So
yeah, it's just kind of weird. It's more of an order flow term, and what it means is once that last seller capitulated right here and there was no more resistance, it just leaves a giant. It's like leaving a gap basically. And markets like to be efficient, so there's a pretty good chance we'll come back to it. Now, once you find acceptance back into those, things get pretty nasty pretty quick most of the time. So when we were on our way down, there was one at 36K that closed out. So the moment you lose this box and you start closing in it, you're pretty much going to $736 in my opinion, like instantly. I mean, it's going to be a nice $150 to $170 drop. That is as soon as you start closing dailies below this. So that is the level you need to hold. So there is your range low. It's already being established for you just based on the invalidation of if you're going to take this trade, you can't be holding the position if you lose this box because you're going to see that 20% drawdown. The question is, does it make sense to stop there? That's where it becomes really, really a questionable thing. I think with most cryptos, log scale is best. And I would actually put the best place to be looking at. A lot of people are looking at $500. That is your time price opportunity value area high. So that is the one standard deviation high of where the most time has spent in price. But your volume high is actually coming in at your log scale golden pocket, coming in about 374. So I would actually put the bottom, if you start losing this $900 level, I think it stair steps its way from $900 at that point. This is only if, the single print is now being entered and it's going to be closed out. You're going to see 736. Then I think you'll see somewhere around 500. And I think the bottom will be between 374 and $500 at that point. That would be the most logical place. Now, I could do all this TA and none of it matters. Where do we begin to change our minds on that idea? Like, is a reversal really in play? I mean, this can bounce pretty high before, getting rejected. Even like you would have to really see probably the $1,646 to $1,700 area, this structure right here. You can really see it's just a neckline, basically. You would want to see something like this reclaimed to really even say that the bounce is doing anything material. Does that mean wait to buy until you're back above here? I mean, if it's in your cards to play it that safe, go for it. But, those calling for macro bottoms right here, sometimes I wonder if they know what they're actually sitting on, because they are sitting on an immediate 20% dump if this area is lost. And that's just a statistical probability. It's like a 90+% chance of that happening if this little box is gone. So she is hanging on by a thread, in my opinion. And if it goes down, that means Bitcoin's probably going down too. And the altcoins that are, in the market are going to get trashed even more. because Ethereum does lead the way.
Well, let me ask you this then, CVO. You do a lot of the altcoins. So Miguel was asking about altcoins. I jokingly said, "Are there any altcoins left?" And but what I do want to know is in the bear market, in the times like right now where things are just in the dumps, is there certain things that you're looking for that might be different than? I mean, obviously we've talked about bull markets. Everybody's a genius. You just put money in and it just all of a sudden I've got more money. Okay, cool. But is there certain things that you look for in a bear market with the altcoins specifically that are a little bit more enticing than others? Are there any sort of indicators that you're looking for to help you with the alts?
I mean, it really is going to depend on what you're trying to do, because, even thinking back, and it's one of those things too. It's really hard to keep comparing like what we've seen before, with blah, 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 the previous this or that, because everything is it really is. It's evolving. It's maturing. It's so different. I don't think anything we see on, every new day that comes our way is something, we just closed a monthly below, whatever. If that's the case, like, you're seeing something new every single day. And it just kind of goes into that idea of like everybody expecting the 85% drawdown, because that's what we've always seen. It's just like, if that's the only reason behind that, it's just, that's, maybe not the only thing to be, holding it to. As far as, if this is a true blue bear market, then, which I think we can all agree is pretty much, in the bag by this point. You're talking, think about Cardano, for example, ran it down to like 3 cents from whatever it topped out at. And it pretty much, like, Bitcoin outperformed the altcoins up until 2020's all-time high break, probably until, the 30K, initial run up. Right. And what I mean by that is, I mean, you had some altcoins, you had Chainlink, and you had a few here and there that like were really, catching on for that short period of time. But anything else, if you bought XRP, if you were holding like, anything, there was times when even, Ethereum wasn't really moving that well compared. But, of all things, Bitcoin and Ethereum were the ones that, were the safer bets for that, the beginning of that, even going back into the bull run, so to speak. So as far as a trade, and once again, like trading doesn't have to be a day trade. We were just looking at that possible idea. If we get this range idea and you got a 50-60% move coming out of Bitcoin over, the course of a few months, the whole market's going to, run it back to some degree. You're probably going to get 100%. A lot of these altcoins are like sitting in like 150% quarterly ranges right now, and they're all at the lows. So if they all run it up, I mean, even Ethereum, we were just talking about going up to 1,1700. I mean, that's almost 100%. That's a big move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just kind of comes with, if you're going to have a 5-year plan, or, if you're really just holding on until the next like parabolic blow off, it's a different world, because looking for that right now and like just buying and holding and for the next couple of months or for the next even year, it's probably not going to, turn out
in your favor.
Yeah. Like it's just like, really got to look at it like we're in the middle of a 2019 scenario, right? Where we have a, possible year and a half before things even get back to a break-even point. But you'll have a lot of pops, right? A lot of 100% moves, 150% moves, 60% moves. When those run, you really just got to like ignore, not to say you have to ignore, but just, it's probably a time when you want to pull some off the table, wait for a pullback. And I know that sounds cliche, and it's not going to just run up and dump that day. It's going to take time. Even these last, few days that, have been lengthy for, some of these ranges that play out. So it's going to be hard work. And that's all I guess I got to say about that. But finding that next, major, whichever one, altcoin's going to really do the best. I think I agree with a lot of others right now that they might not even be around right now. Right. So the best performers, were born now. So that's a really hard thing, I think, to figure out, is which altcoin's going to do the best. And even if you would have lined up 10 altcoins in front of everybody in 2020, December, who would have guessed that Solana would be one that would run from $1 to $3.50, or that and then you could have been holding something else that entire time that didn't move at all. So it's just, you really have to go day by day with it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I want to say that with the alts, for me, I'm personally, the only reason that I'm just sitting on the alts that I have is because the alts that I have, I genuinely, truly believe. I don't mess with alts unless it's something that I genuinely believe in. So like my alts that I hold, Audius, which is decentralized like music streaming, that money goes to the artists and NFTs are involved and all that, right? Cardano, I hold some Cardano. I hold a little bit of Chainlink, not a ton, but I believe Chainlink's partnered with freaking everybody. I've got VeChain, supply chain. I guess what I'm getting at is I don't need to run through my whole portfolio, but what I'm getting at is right now for me, I'm able to sit on the alts that I have because even after seeing how many projects disappeared in 2017, because of seeing that, the alts that I'm holding on to, I believe are still going to be around. And I think too many times people dive into the market, they see these massive moves and they think, well, this has got to be it. This is the one. Da, 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 da. And I have news for everybody on here. If you've never been through this before, there's going to be a lot of projects that you will have TikTok proof of a lot of us talking about different projects and things going on in this, that, and the third that are going to go away. And you need to be prepared for that. So that's why when we talk about bear market activities being education, that's another example of why when we talk about bear market education as it relates to charting's already TA is a tough thing to do and to learn. Now the bear market, ultimately you've got a lot of opportunities as it relates to shorting and whatnot, but you've got to be educated. You've got to know what to do. And so that's why hopefully you stop by TA Thursday tonight to check it out. What were you going to say, Miguel?
Yeah, everybody needs to buckle up. It's going to be a long ride.
Yeah, just need to be prepared for that, and that's why we're here. We want to continue to bring you the alpha. That's the cool things that the cool kids say now. I think bringing you the alpha, right? No, so we're super excited for everything that's coming up. I appreciate you guys for coming on as always for TA Thursday, guys. We're gonna do some more of the little Royal Rumbles as well. If you guys are looking for more on the education side of things, I know sometimes the talk can be a little bit intimidating. I know it has been for me in the past as well. Make sure to check out Leading Crypto's Discord. That's super important. They are doing a lot of teaching stuff over there. And then, as they said earlier, they've got their live streams and whatnot. Jump into our Discord, Danger Close Alpha. It's about to be 4th of July weekend. I'll talk about this some more tomorrow, but be safe this weekend, guys. I just want to tell everybody in here that we love you. Make sure you jump into our Twitter space tonight. We doing it at 9, Miguel?
9 p.m. Eastern.
9 p.m. We need to get that. Listen, if somebody wants a Pure Fire Tactical Fire Starter, these things are super dope. We need to get to 50 retweets. I don't know what we're at right now. I'm just throwing it out there. Make sure you are following Danger Close Alpha on Twitter and help get us there. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Unless you got anything else, Miguel, CVO, Magic, you guys got anything you want to drop? No?
I only had one question.
Yeah, what's up?
I was going to ask you guys, which one of the big altcoins do you guys think, or do you want to see disappear in the next bear market?
Solana.
XRP.
I already know. I knew what you were going to say.
I knew what Miguel was going to say. We could have just muted Miguel. We already knew. I could have spoke that. I could have spoke that out for him. I will say I'm such an ETH bull, and I love ETH so much that I don't like Solana. But the reason I really don't like Solana is I can't see a more centralized project that's had more freaking just problems like shutting down and and I think it's a prime candidate for a lot of manipulation, and I just don't really love it from that standpoint. So.
Shout out to the $2,000 Bitcoin move in the last 2 hours.
Oh, is it what? It's at 21. It's at 20. 20.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Going for it.
Guys,
I like Solana,
right.
so I'll keep it around for you guys.
If you came to TA Thursday for a Bitcoin pump, make sure to smash the likes because we got the pump. We did it for you. Magic and CVO pumping the market from their chairs at home. Make sure you guys subscribe, follow them on YouTube, follow all the stuff they've got going on. Jump into their Discord. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Just remember to question everything.
Trust nothing.
And until next time, hodl
like it's hot.
We'll see you soon.
Solana.